The Glimmering Grove was no ordinary forest. It was a place where the trees whispered ancient secrets, and the streams sang songs of forgotten times. Every creature that lived there knew the tales of the phoenix, and when the glowing feather descended from the sky, the forest stirred with excitement. The feather landed softly in a bed of wildflowers, glowing so brightly that it illuminated the entire grove, even under the midday sun. The creatures of the forest gathered, marveling at the sight. Birds chirped in excitement, squirrels chattered from the treetops, and even the usually silent deer moved closer to witness the miracle. Word spread quickly. Whoever found the feather could make one wish, a wish that would be granted by the phoenix itself. But the feather had to be returned to the phoenix by sunrise, or its magic would be lost forever. One of the creatures who heard the news was a young fox, with sleek red fur and curious amber eyes. He had always been an adventurous soul, and the moment he heard about the feather, his heart filled with hope. Though he was clever and quick, he often felt small and insignificant in a world full of larger and stronger animals. He had always dreamed of becoming more powerful, more capable, more respected. "This is my chance," the fox thought, as he dashed through the forest, his paws barely touching the ground. "If I can find the feather, I can make my wish come true." The Glimmering Grove was vast, and the young fox knew he would have to search every corner of it to find the feather. He moved quickly, his sharp eyes scanning the forest floor as he ran. The trees seemed taller and denser the deeper he ventured, their thick branches forming a canopy that blocked out most of the light. The only source of illumination was the soft glow from the phoenix's feather, somewhere in the distance, guiding him like a beacon. As the fox hurried through the underbrush, he encountered other animals who had also heard about the fallen feather. A proud stag stood tall, his antlers gleaming in the dim light, while a group of rabbits huddled together, whispering excitedly. Even the birds had gathered, perching on the branches above, their beady eyes watching intently. But the fox was determined. He pushed past the other animals, his heart pounding with anticipation. "I must be the one to find it," he whispered to himself. "This is my only chance." After what felt like hours of searching, the fox finally saw it, a faint glow up ahead, nestled between the roots of a giant oak tree. His breath caught in his throat as he approached, his paws slowing as he neared the source of the light. And there it was, the phoenix's feather, glowing with an ethereal light that seemed to pulse with magic. The feather was even more magnificent up close than the fox had imagined. It shimmered with a warm, golden light, and as the fox reached out to touch it, he felt a wave of energy wash over him. His fur tingled, and for a moment, it was as if the world around him had disappeared, leaving only the feather and its magic. With the feather in his paws, the fox felt a surge of power. He could feel the strength coursing through his veins, and for a brief moment, he imagined what it would be like to be bigger, faster, and stronger. He pictured himself running through the forest, his body sleek and powerful, with every creature looking up to him in awe. "This is it," the fox thought, his heart racing. "This is my chance to become everything I've ever dreamed of." But just as he was about to make his wish, a voice interrupted his thoughts. "Be careful, young one," the voice said, soft yet commanding. The fox spun around to see an owl perched on a nearby branch, its golden eyes glowing in the dim light. The owl was old and wise, known throughout the forest as a creature of great knowledge. Its feathers were mottled with age, but its gaze was sharp and piercing. "Do you truly understand the power of the feather?" the owl asked, tilting its head slightly. The fox hesitated, his paws tightening around the feather. "I do," he said. "I want to be stronger. I want to be able to protect myself and explore the world without fear." The owl regarded the fox for a long moment before speaking again. "Strength and power are not to be taken lightly. The phoenix entrusted this feather to the forest, not for selfish desires, but to help those in need. Think carefully, young one. Is this truly what you wish for?" The fox stared at the feather in his paws, his mind racing. He had dreamed of this moment for so long, but now, standing there with the magical feather, he began to doubt his own desires. The owl's words echoed in his mind, and he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this feather's power than just granting wishes. Just then, a soft sound reached his ears, a whimper, faint but unmistakable. The fox's ears perked up, and he turned toward the sound. It was coming from deeper in the forest, where the trees grew even thicker and darker. Without a second thought, the fox followed the sound, his paws moving swiftly over the forest floor. As he drew closer, the whimpering grew louder, until he finally found the source, a small, injured fawn, lying on the ground. The fawn's leg was caught in a tangle of vines, and she looked up at the fox with wide, frightened eyes. The fox's heart clenched. The fawn was young, no older than a few months, and she was clearly in pain. Without hesitation, the fox rushed to her side, carefully untangling her leg from the vines. As he worked, the feather in his paw glowed brighter, and he felt the warmth of its magic spreading through him. When the fawn's leg was finally free, the fox knelt beside her, gently placing the feather over her wound. The moment the feather touched her skin, a soft, golden light enveloped her, and the wound began to heal. The fawn's eyes widened in surprise as the pain faded away, replaced by a sense of peace and comfort. "Thank you," the fawn whispered, her voice trembling with gratitude. The fox smiled, his heart swelling with warmth. In that moment, he realized that the true power of the feather wasn't in granting wishes for personal gain, it was in using its magic to help others. With the fawn healed and safe, the fox knew what he had to do. The feather had done its work, and now it was time to return it to the phoenix. The owl had been right, this feather wasn't meant for selfish desires. It was a gift, meant to bring healing and hope to those in need. The fox made his way back to the Glimmering Grove, where the phoenix itself awaited him. The majestic bird stood tall, its feathers blazing with a fiery light that illuminated the entire forest. As the fox approached, the phoenix's eyes met his, and for a moment, they simply stared at each other in silence. Then, with a soft cry, the phoenix lowered its head, allowing the fox to place the feather back into its radiant plumage. The moment the feather was returned, the phoenix let out a powerful, melodic song, its voice echoing through the trees. The entire forest seemed to come alive with light and sound, as the magic of the feather spread through every corner of the grove. The fox watched in awe as the phoenix soared into the sky, its wings leaving a trail of golden light behind it. He felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that he had done the right thing. Though he had not used the feather's magic to make himself stronger, he had gained something far more valuable, a new understanding of what it truly meant to be powerful. Strength wasn't about size or speed or physical power. It was about kindness, compassion, and the courage to do what was right, even when it was difficult. The fox had shown great wisdom in returning the feather, and in doing so, he had earned the respect and admiration of the entire forest. From that day on, the fox became a hero in the eyes of the Glimmering Grove's creatures. Not because he was bigger or faster, but because he had a heart full of kindness and the courage to help those in need. And though the phoenix's feather was gone, its magic remained in the hearts of all who had witnessed its power. As the fox returned to his home that evening, he felt a sense of fulfillment he had never known before. His body was tired from the journey, but his heart was lighter than it had ever been. The glow of the phoenix's feather had faded from his paws, but the warmth of the experience remained, lingering in his chest like a comforting flame. Along the way, the creatures of the Glimmering Grove gathered to watch him pass. The birds chirped songs of gratitude, the deer bowed their heads in respect, and even the small creatures, squirrels, rabbits, and mice, scampered forward to offer their silent thanks. The fox smiled at them, no longer feeling the need to prove himself. He had gained something far more valuable than the physical strength he had once desired. He had earned the trust and admiration of the entire forest. As the fox approached his den, the moonlight bathed the trees in a silver glow, and the stars twinkled brightly overhead. He paused to look up at the sky, where he had first seen the phoenix soaring among the clouds. The memory of that majestic creature filled him with awe, but now, there was no envy in his heart. He no longer wished to be anything more than what he was, a small, clever fox who had learned the power of kindness. In the days that followed, the fox found himself surrounded by friends. The once silent deer now sought his company, the birds perched on his shoulders as he explored the forest, and the other animals treated him as a leader, not because of any magical power, but because of the compassion he had shown. He had become a symbol of hope in the Glimmering Grove, a reminder that true strength came not from physical prowess but from the courage to do what was right. One day, as the fox sat by the edge of the sparkling stream, the old owl from before flew down to sit beside him. The owl's golden eyes gleamed with wisdom, and its voice was soft but strong. "You have learned a great lesson, young one," the owl said. "The phoenix chose well when it entrusted the feather to you. You may not have made a wish for yourself, but in helping others, you have fulfilled a wish greater than any magic could grant." The fox nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "I thought I needed to be stronger to make a difference," he said. "But now I understand that kindness and bravery are the greatest strengths of all." The owl tilted its head in approval. "Indeed. And because you chose the path of selflessness, the magic of the phoenix will forever live within you. Wherever you go, the forest will remember your deeds, and your story will be passed down for generations to come." With those words, the owl spread its wings and flew off into the night, leaving the fox to ponder its wisdom. As the cool breeze rustled through the trees and the moon continued its slow ascent across the sky, the fox realized that his journey had only just begun. Though the adventure with the phoenix's feather was over, the lessons he had learned would guide him through every step of his life. And so, the fox returned to his peaceful life in the Glimmering Grove, forever changed by his encounter with the magical feather. He no longer wished for strength or power, for he had discovered the true meaning of both. His heart was full of compassion, and his mind was sharp with newfound wisdom. And though he remained a small creature in a vast world, the fox knew he had already made a difference, and that was more than enough.